Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Deja Vu Survival where we look at an old world with new eyes. My name is Glitch. Today we're going to look at adding a few decorative touches to our little home here at the Cleft 2.0. Now, one of the main reasons that I am sticking close to home is that I am still on the grind for XP so that we can get the enchanted gear we need for another adventure. And if I die out there in the world, I will only get 7 levels back after respawn. Mostly, I've been doing a lot of fishing. I use the grindstone for any of the books that I pulled up, unless they have a treasure enchantment or something that I want to save for later. Right now, I'm saving up to combine a bunch of bows that I've fished up. That is one advantage we have in Bedrock Edition. The amount of enchanted bows you do pull out while fishing is actually pretty high. And jump into the inventory. These are just a few of the examples that I have, and I think, even though I'm not a big fan of flame, which, as the name suggests, gives you flaming arrows, I'm not a real big fan of that enchantment. Once I combine these three in the anvil, I think that we'll have a pretty solid bow to get us started. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive into today's project. Now, to be honest, this episode kind of intimidates me. I like to keep things pretty simple, but one of the things that I have noticed is that my base is basically, well, it's somewhat of a hodgepodge of different types of blocks. Over time, however, I've gotten to know a few YouTubers and that have an incredible eye for making things look good. And though I've tried to uh, emulate the kinds of builds they do, the results often pale by comparison. So I think we're going to stick with the basics today and look at adding a little bit of color, a little bit of texture, and also some furnishing to give you some starter ideas. And then I'll leave a few links to YouTubers that I think will inspire you with some incredible building skills down in the description below. I still intend on trying some more creative builds as we progress in this series, but for now, let's get started by looking at a little bit of color. Well, here's an unexpected development. I came out to talk about the different sheep we have, and apparently either our barn has sprung a leak, or there's a visual bug in the game at the moment, where even though we are inside, the transparent blocks above us are making it so that the rain particles are coming in. Ah well, with every update, there are going to be bugs, but still, we love the game. Am I right? But that being said, since there's no cloth in Minecraft, one of the main resources you can use for decoration is wool. Now, we have our sheep out in the pen, and I spent a little bit of time roaming around in the plains nearby to gather up a few things. And I also found a couple of extra ones in other naturally generated colors. So now we have the couple of blue that we dyed. We have a white one. We have a gray sheep, and also we have a statistical oddity. We have a pink sheep. In Minecraft, the pink sheep is one of the rare sheep to generate, and it's actually kind of cool to actually have one that we found. To be honest, actually, I noticed him in the background back in episode 8 when we went on our treasure hunt. So I went back near that spot and I found him, and using one of our leads, brought him back. But each one of these guys will give their respective color of wools. And once you have the wool, it can be crafted into things like carpets and banners. Now, carpets are pretty much self-explanatory. You simply take the wool and craft it into a carpet and then place it down. Now, one advantage of the carpet is the fact that it is a transparent block, and therefore it is good for mob-proofing an area inside, but you do need to remember carpet is flammable, so it doesn't work in places like the nether, but also it's good for hiding a light source that isn't so nice looking, like a jack-o'-lantern. Now, one other advantage with carpet that you have is the fact that you can place it on a fence post. Ordinarily, fence posts are 1.5 blocks tall, and you as a player do not have the ability to jump over it. But if you place a piece of carpet down, you can jump in and jump over it, but mobs, animals, or hostile mobs cannot. So it makes a nice, convenient space saver, and also makes it convenient if you have a small space with a lot of animals you want to get in and out without losing your animals. So let's quick grab our wool, and then we'll head inside. And we just jump out. Alright guys, so you guys go ahead and grow your wool back, and let's go ahead and get back inside and out of the rain. So let's go ahead and lay some carpet in the bedroom here. So we'll just go ahead and lay it around. Now, one thing to remember with a bed is you do not have the ability to lay carpet directly beside it. But it makes things look a little bit more homey. And also, one other thing you can do to customize things with a little bit of color is you can take your bed. And I remembered that we had an ink sac or two that I pulled up while fishing. I'm going to go ahead and just put that there. And you can convert that into black dye. And then once you have that, you can take a bed and dye it with whatever color you want. So if we took the red dye for the poppy, we can make a red bed. We're going to go ahead and make it a black one. Now, one thing, if you do dye your bed, you want to make sure you go ahead and click on it to make sure your respawn point is set. But that's a start with adding a little more color. Now, another useful thing you can do, or fun thing you can do to add a little color, is banners, and you need wool for that as well. So if we jump into the crafting table, you make a banner from 6 pieces of wool and a stick, and we're going to go ahead and just make a couple of blue banners. And it used to be a lot more complicated to create banners. I mean, they crafted simply enough, but you used to almost have to have the Minecraft wiki open to the page concerning it and just go through all the different combinations. But now that we have the loom, things are a lot easier. So when we visited the village back in episode 9, I grabbed one of the extra ones that I found sitting around and brought it home. So once you have your banner, let's go ahead and we'll put our loom down. Where is it? There. We'll put the loom down right here. Once you have that, you have all these different options. There are also a few banner patterns that you can either make or purchase from certain villagers, and you would put them in this slot here. But you can place your banner down, a color of your choice, and also a pattern if you're using it. But I think what we're going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and back out of that, and then you get your dyes from the different flowers. For example, poppies will give you red, dandelions yellow, cornflowers blue. Light gray will come from an oxide daisy. I believe it is the same with lily of the valley. I would have to double check on that. But I think what we're going to do right now is I need a couple of colors here. So we're going to go ahead and get a little bit of yellow and a little bit of blue. And then what we'll do is, actually we need two of each. Because what we're going to do is, not that I discovered like a secret banner pattern or anything like that, but I have a personal banner pattern that I came up with back when I started playing, and I've just kind of stuck with it. So I think just to demonstrate, I'm going to go ahead and use that. Now, if you want certain colors like orange, you can do that with the by placing certain colors together. For example, yellow and red make orange. Some colors, such as green, that is not possible. That can only be found by smelting cactus. But then if we come into our our loom, place down the banner, and then let's go ahead and place down orange. So right now it's on the pattern here, and we're going to go ahead and go with this one. And then if you have two banners, all you would have to do is you can take each one of them out. It'll cost you 1 die a piece. So 1, 2. And then you can place them in. And if you want to add a different layer, you also have that ability by placing a different color in. Now, of course, right now it's just completely covering it, but let's just go ahead with a different pattern. This is the gradient. This is the pattern that I've always liked. But we'll go ahead and place this down, and then grab 1, 2, and then we can simply come over and hang our pattern, our banner, and the Cleft 2.0 is officially home. And whereas it is night, let's take a quick nap. Oh, incidentally, if you're curious, the reason that this banner pattern came to mind is orange and blue were my high school colors. You can try any combination you want. Nothing's final with a banner until you take it from the output. So if we come back over to the loom, and let's just say we place our banner back in, and we choose, let's grab our orange back out, and we decide, we'll put this here. Nothing is final until you take it out of the output slot here, and even then, there is a way to change it back. But that is our banner. Another way you can add a decorative touch to your builds is by varying the types of materials that you use. Now, I thought a lot about how to do this, but to be honest, the more I thought about it, the longer my notes got. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of the actual remodeling in a time-lapse montage, and then we'll come back and do a quick tour to talk about some of the work that I did. So while I do that, please enjoy some music from the Minecraft soundtrack. Let's get started. And we're back. So starting out here on the deck, I laid in some smooth stone and also placed a barrel and a composter down at the end, kind of to stand in place of where the trash would go out. In the near future, I want to take care of putting in a garbage disposal, but I'm still lacking a couple of components to do that. Now, coming in and starting with the kitchen, I changed out the floor for a mixture of polished diorite and sandstone to just kind of give it a little bit of a linoleum look. And then I left the main area here as just regular stone. In the future, we may change that out, but that's where we are for right now. For our storage area, I expanded it out and added in a bunch of more chests. And also, this block on the top is an upside down stair, which will then allow us to still access our chest, but eventually we'll hang signs here to label what is in each of the chests. And I also added in the floor of polished andesite. And just to dress things up a little bit, I went ahead and added in a little bit of light gray stained glass throughout, just to separate the two rooms. Now, moving upstairs, I put in a center post of wood all the way up through, and then I went and for our enchanting room, I added in stone bricks throughout as a flooring, and then left cobblestone here in the main room as the ceiling. And then the only other thing I really did was go around and anywhere where you saw just random blocks, the granite that was over here or here by the doorway. I just took that out and added in stone by cooking up some cobblestone back into stone and then hanging it up and then putting it adding it where that was. So last up, let's go ahead and add just a couple of decorative furniture. First off, was not expecting that. First off, let's go ahead and add an armor stand here in the bedroom. Now, an armor stand is made from a stone slab and sticks, and it's a fun way to display both the armor you like to use, but also as you go through the game, you will gain armor that you just collect, different treasures that you find. But to add it in, you just need to take the piece of armor and add it on, and incidentally, oops, I accidentally put it on. And instantly, we're now at a couple of pieces of fire protection armor, and that will hopefully soon. I want to finish up the helmet, and then we should be good to go. One other fun thing you can do, at least in Bedrock Edition, here, let's go ahead and pull out a sword. One thing you can do in Bedrock Edition is if you want, you can add an item to the armor stand and it will hold it. I don't believe you can do this in Java at this time. Another thing you can do is if you hold shift and then click on the armor stand, it will change its pose, which is just fun for display purposes. You can also take an item frame and place it on the wall, and this is a great way to display both the treasures you find and also tools you want to use. For example, here's my Fortune 3 pickaxe, and I named it Fortuitous, but if you place it in there, it will display the name of the tool above the item. Last up, let's go ahead and run downstairs since we're really not going to add much for furnishings up here in the enchanting room at this time. But let's close the door. Let's go ahead and we'll break this chest out. And the last thing we can do is we can add in some furnishings here in the kitchen. Now, do I still have my... Hang on one second, I'm going to grab my stone, because to make this look right... Stone. Where did I put the stone? You know what, we'll just store a little bit in the furnace while I talk. So to add it, last but not least, just for fun, in the kitchen, you can also add in some items that will be like furnishings. One of the things you can add is a cauldron. Now, the cauldron is a block that has a little bit of use. It is workstation for, I believe, it's the shepherd villager. But also, when I said that if you are working with a banner and you decide you don't like it, you can wash off the most recent layer with a cauldron. And all we need to do is just add some water, and then that will take care of that. And then just to decorate it, you can also take a tripwire hook, which you can get through fishing or through crafting, and just add it there. It makes it look a little bit like a sink. And then last up, do we have our stone left? 4 stones enough. Okay, now the reason I'm going to do it this way is because the best look for this is for it to be backwards. Where is my pick? You can also take the loom, break that out for a second, and place it in, and the back texture of it's actually pretty nice. Let's just jump over that. The back texture of it looks a little bit like a drawers. So what I like to do is just place it in, and then you can just, but you have to place it in backwards for it to look like this. But then you can basically place that down, and it still has its functionality, but it also is somewhat decorative. And then if you want to decorate the top of it or any of the blocks, for example, I'm going to go ahead and place some countertop here. You can go ahead and place a pressure plate on your any of the items that have a interface. You would just need to hold down Shift to do that. But that is just a little bit of decoration to the cleft, and hopefully it makes this place look a little bit more like home. One thing to bear in mind is that these things are just suggestions. Like most things in Minecraft, you have the freedom to choose your own style, or to take inspiration from someone else and customize your build as much or as little as you want. For today, however, I am all out of time. I've got a little more work to do to get ready for our nether adventure. Mostly it's just down to getting the levels to combine the bows I showed you earlier, and also I do want to enchant that helmet. Beyond that, I also have a promise to keep. My daughter loves Minecraft as well, and one of her favorite things is taming animals, especially horses. And I promised her, when I found a saddle, that I would do an episode about horse taming. And during the time that I was fishing, I found 1 or 2 of those. So next time we are going to go out and round ourselves up some wheat-fueled transportation. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, and also consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. My name is Glitch, and I do hope I'll see you next time on the next episode of Deja Vu Survival. Thanks for watching.